As an online coach trying to scale to 50K, 100K, or even $500,000 per month, there's three myths that you've been lied to about that's tanking the growth of your business. And before we dive in, for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Austin Medlin, and I've been in the online coaching space since 2019, and I'm responsible behind the scenes for helping scale some of the fastest growing companies on planet Earth. The first company I ever consulted with and worked for, we scaled to 1.7 million a month, and we're on the Inc. 5000 2 years in a row for fastest growing privately owned companies in America. The next company I worked with, we scaled to $250,000 a month in less than 10 months. In the third company, we scaled to almost $600,000 a month in 14 months. The reason that's relevant is because the myths I'm going to walk you through, I didn't read about in a book, download a PDF, or watch a YouTube video on. I learned from being in the trenches for the past 6 years, scaling these companies at record pace. Since 2019, I've personally worked one-on-one with over 500 coaching companies, and I've seen these myths kill the growth of their business time and time again until I shattered them. If you're an online coach looking to scale your business significantly faster than you've been able to in the past, and maybe you're feeling stuck and burnt out, I'd grab a pen and paper. You're going to want to write these down. Myth number one is that prospects need to like you in order to buy from you. This couldn't be further from the truth, and this is why you're making a ton of friends, but you're not making money on your sales calls. The truth is, people will buy from those that they trust, not those that they like. And look, I get it. Back in 2019, when I was getting into the world of high ticket sales, I was taking sales call after sales call and nobody was buying, and I was super confused because I felt like they really liked me. It was the weirdest thing. Prospects seemed to be engaged. They were enjoying the conversation. They were telling me that they were going to pay me next week on a follow-up call just to get ghosted and never hear back from them again. I was so focused on building 5 to 10 minutes of rapport and getting prospects to like me that I was throwing my authoritative leadership and my trust out the window by simply trying to be their friend. I actually called up a mentor of mine, the one who got me into the world of online high ticket back in 2019, and I told him this industry wasn't for me and I just wasn't cut out to close these type of sales. That's when he introduced me to the concept of authoritative leadership, and he told me, stop building so much rapport, stop trying to be their friend, and start telling them the truth. That way it skyrockets the trust that they have for you. Shorter rapport, direct questions, and neutral energy is what builds the trust. And guess what? At the end of the conversation, sometimes you're going to have to tell these people what they need to hear, not what they want to hear. That means when you're in the buying pocket, tension can rise. The temperature in the room will start to feel a little bit hot. But ultimately, that's the discomfort that these prospects need to sit in to ultimately make a decision to change their life. If you're not currently closing as many sales as you know you should be, go into your next sales calls focused on being a neutral, trusted expert, almost like a doctor when he walks in the room, and less of the friendly coach that's buddy-buddy with the prospect. Myth number two, and probably the biggest one that's tanking the growth of your business, is that you need more and better leads in order to scale. If you already have 5, 10, or maybe 20 sales calls on your calendar every single month, but your close rate is less than 60%, you don't need more leads. You need to get better at sales. Marketing requires a ton of time building ads and posting organically. It also requires money to run those ads and produce that content with no guarantee of a return. And of course, it requires patience to optimize those ads, let your pixel warm up, and build out your retargeting campaigns. And after all of that time, effort, energy, and money, platforms can simply make one algorithmic change that tanks what you're currently doing for marketing. Now, I'm not saying marketing isn't necessary. Of course it is, but if you're watching this video and you already have 5, 10, maybe 20 plus sales calls on your calendar every single month, it's time to move on to pull bigger levers that will have outsized returns to your bottom line. You see, if your sales process isn't dialed in, getting more leads with a broken sales process is like pouring water into a leaky bucket, and it's only going to exaggerate the problems that you already have. How many sales calls have you been on where prospects seem to really like you, you spend an hour with them, and then at the end of the call, they blindside you with an objection that you simply don't know how to handle? And then you book a follow-up call that they inevitably ghost and you never hear back from them again. There goes another wasted hour that you as the CEO of your business just don't have time to waste. Think about it this way. If you doubled your ad spend in your organic content, in your cold emails, and all of your marketing efforts, there's no guarantee that you double your lead flow. And even if you did double your lead flow, you're just simply simply doubling the headaches and the burnout that you're already experiencing because you're not closing at a high enough clip to actually scale. Here's the 3 things that you can implement today that's guaranteed to raise your close rate and help you start enrolling more prospects on the first call with more cash up front. Number 1 is a quicker rapport. This ties into myth number 1, where we don't need people to like us. We need them to trust us in order to buy from us to help them solve their problems. Your rapport should be less than 30 seconds, and you can ask the same 2 questions every single time. How's the week going for you so far, and where are you located? The secret here is when they tell you where they're located and tell you how the week is, we don't want to jump in and tell them about our week and where we're located and our cousin also lives in Toronto. None of that matters, and it doesn't help you close sales. Number 2 is we hold people accountable at the end of the call in service to them. People ask me all the time, they say, Austin, at the end of the call, when you're holding people accountable and you're telling them the truth and the temperature in the room is rising, like, don't you feel super salesy? And I answer that question with a question, and I say, hey, when you let people go and they inevitably never hire you and their life stays the same as it was when they got on that first call with you, don't you feel like shit for leaving them stuck where they're at? If you want to be good at sales, you must be willing to tell people the truth, independent of how it makes them perceive you. I'm not worried about what people think of me. I'm worried about changing people's lives, and that requires me to hold them accountable with a little bit of love and tell them the truth. And number 3 is change your price drop. I've taken over 7,000 one-to-one high ticket sales calls. I've experimented with every single price drop known to man. And by far the best price drop is the paid in full price drop. What that looks like is if your program is $8,000, but if they want to put it on a payment plan, you want to add interest and make it $9,000, here's how you would drop your price going forward. Yeah, so Austin, to work together for the next X amount of months to help you accomplish whatever their goal is, it's either 2 payments of $4,500 or a one-time investment of just $8K. What that's doing psychologically is telling them that the program is $9,000, but if they paid in full, I'll give you a discount. Where most people go wrong is they say, yeah, the program's just $8,000, and then if they can't pay it in full, now they're adding interest, which is punishing the prospect and making them pay $9K. My price drop is the same as your price drop. I'm just reversing the order at which it's presented. That way prospects don't feel punished if they can't pay it in full. Now, myth number 3 is probably the most contradictory to anything you've heard in the past, and that would be that raising your price hurts your close rate. Similar to close rate, if you doubled your price, you would automatically double your revenue, double your cash, and double your ROAS without having to spend a penny more on paid ads or take any additional calls that are already scheduled on your calendar anyways. Raising price is the lever that has the least resistance. You don't need to develop a skill. You don't need to spend money on ads. You don't need to hire a coach or a mentor. You just simply need to get on your next sales call after watching this video with a little bit of confidence and tell them a higher price than you told the last guy. So that leads me to the question, if it's the lever with the least resistance, why is it so hard for online coaches to actually implement? And the answer is actually quite simple. You're already getting on calls with prospects that tell you, I can't afford it. And you probably had a prospect on a random Wednesday afternoon tell you that your price was outrageous and they would never pay you that amount of money for your services. When you shatter myth number 2 and you start to increase your close rate regardless of lead volume and lead quality, that will finally give you the confidence that you need to raise your price. And here's the best part, increasing your price will guaranteed 100% without a shadow of a doubt. I've done this since 2019. It will increase your close rate, and here's why. People associate value with cost, and when you go through the value of your program and it's this amazing, immaculate transformation, and then you attach it to such a low cost, your prospect is then conflicted and confused. Well, if this guy is so great and can help me accomplish all of these things, why is the program so cheap? They might not tell you that on the call, but I can guarantee you it's what they're thinking. Because of the fact that people associate value with cost, the more you charge for your program, the more inherent value that a prospect assumes it has. The more value, the more they want it, and the more they want it, the more likely they are to throw their objections out the window and buy. And always remember, people would rather spend more money on the right thing than they would spend less money on the wrong thing. Another advantage of raising your price is when people pay, they pay attention, which means your new clients at your increased price will take your program more seriously, which of course means they get better results, so you get better case studies and testimonials and a hell of a lot more referrals. In reality, charging people more money gets them better results, so it's a win for them and it puts more money in your pocket, which increases increases your ROAS and allows you to reinvest into scale, like building a team or running more ads. So it's a win for you. It's a win-win for everyone. Raise your price. If you've been trying to raise your price and it hasn't really been working, try the stair-step method. That would be where you enroll someone today, you add a couple $100 to your price, you enroll a couple people at the new price, and then you stair-step it up again until you start charging what you know you're actually worth. I have fitness coaches in my program charging $8,200 and career coaches charging $9,800. You can and you should raise your price. If you're an online coach looking to scale and you've fallen victim to any of these three myths, scroll down below and book a one-on-one call with me. I scale coaching companies to 6 figures per month and 7 and 8 figures per year like clockwork. And what I'll do for you for making it this far in the video is I personally, not my team, I will jump on a one-on-one call with you and help you identify the myths and bottlenecks that have been keeping you stuck. Once we identify those bottlenecks, I'll build you out a custom game plan and roadmap step by step so you can start to scale your business beyond your wildest dreams. If you have access to the right information and you're not afraid of the implementation, you can build your business to unimaginable new heights. My track record in the online space, working with over 500 clients and being behind the scenes pioneering some of the fastest growing online companies on planet Earth, says that I have the information. The question becomes, are you afraid of the implementation? Whether you book a call with me or not, please shatter these three myths. I guarantee you at least one or two of them is what's keeping you stuck and preventing you from scale. But if you do want some higher level help, book a call with me one-on-one down below, and I'll see you there.